What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite real estate related stocks, which is Zillow. Maybe a year or two ago I couldn't really say this was necessarily a real estate stock, even though we all know what Zillow is known for. They're starting to expand their business operations and a lot of people aren't really aware what they actually do today. And so we're going to be discussing that. We're also going to be discussing my position in Zillow and why I like Zillow. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so first things first, I have about 5 shares of Zillow, which is actually not that much considering adding more at this point. And I'm actually hardly even up on this. This is about 2% up, which, I might as well be flat at that point. And I'm really considering doubling my position at this point. Now, obviously, they had a pretty large drop going from mid-February when a lot of innovative stocks actually took a hit. And so this is not specific to Zillow, right? Because a lot of the innovative stocks actually dropped 40-50% since mid-February. And in Zillow's case, they were pretty much $200 a share mid-February, and they are currently about $118 per share. So that's about 40% drop. Let's go ahead and take a look at their chart in a more deeper dive sort of way. And so one thing I do want to make clear is that we're starting to notice that a lot of the innovative stocks have been picking up quite a bit lately, even a lot more than Zillow. So why don't we just go ahead and take a look at RK as a whole. We can see the recovery has been pretty drastic, and RK is now above all of its major moving averages, which are the 50, 100, and 200. But we have Zillow here, which is almost like a little bit of a laggard. And so as far as relative strength goes, it is showing a little bit less strength than the rest of the innovative space. However, that's actually what intrigues me the most because, as I'm taking tiny amounts of profit here and there, I'm starting to think about where I can redeploy that capital. And obviously, what we saw here in the pandemic is that while the NASDAQ actually outperformed going into the end of the pandemic, we had the Dow Jones and a lot of these sort of dividend aristocrat stocks really start to do well starting in March, basically. And so this is McDonald's, for example, bouncing off the 200-day moving average. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about McDonald's when this video is about Zillow? And so the answer is because there's often sector rotation. And so Zillow, I would almost classify as a new wave of real estate related technology stocks. One other company that you guys might have heard of is actually Redfin. And so Redfin's chart looks pretty much identical to Zillow's, right? And so in a sense, we would expect these stocks to perform pretty well going forward. And obviously, we had a massive spike and then mid-February crashed down. Redfin in particular crashed down about 50% basically, now starting to pick up. Still hasn't made a huge recovery, but still starting to pick up. Zillow in particular is not showing the same strength right now that Redfin has, but again, also crashed about 50%. And so now we're starting to recover a little bit. And so, yeah, this is an example of me projecting that this sector will catch up. And because Redfin and Zillow are both showing the same sort of lagginess as far as this recovery goes, and obviously we know Redfin's a little bit stronger, but still makes me feel more comfortable about putting my money into something like Zillow. The real question now is, how much do I increase my position by? Do I double it? Do I triple it? I'm not going to disclose that in this video. I still need to think about that one myself. But yeah, just an interesting trade idea. So now let's talk about what Zillow actually is. And so this explanation is better than any explanation I could do, but we are going to do more of a deeper dive after this. So really quickly, so they engage in the provision of real estate and home related information marketplaces on mobile and the web. So very simple. Now, we used to know real estate by this home related information marketplace where you would go to compare prices on homes, to look for homes, and potentially get connected with real estate agents or buyers or sellers. And now, though, Zillow is starting to get into the real estate market. And this actually explains their segments pretty well. So they have about 3 segments, which is internet, which we know about, media and technology, and the homes and mortgages segment. And so the home segment is basically including Zillow buying and selling of homes directly. And the mortgage segment includes advertising sold to mortgage lenders and other mortgage professionals. So this is actually a game changer in my honest opinion, because Zillow in particular has a massive directory of the real estate market basically. And so you might be wondering, how different is this from a traditional REIT? And so obviously the space of REITs is actually pretty wide. There's things like commercial real estate, which obviously is not in Zillow's market. And there's also things like leasing properties, which again is not really in Zillow's market. Like for example, the most popular triple net lease companies are Realty Income and Store Capital. And so this is not necessarily in that same market. But as far as the residential segment goes of real estate, I think Zillow has a pretty big leg up, and it should be pretty obvious why. So let me just go into their investor relations a little bit more. And so just some quick stats so you guys get to know the actual scale of how big Zillow is, which by the way is a leading brand in this space. So they had about $1.2 billion in revenue in Q1 2021. They have about 221 million average monthly unique users. At least they did in this past quarter. 2.5 billion visits. And so of these users, that's 2.5 billion visits. And then they have about over 135 million homes in their actual database, and a pretty large company. And obviously, the biggest reason why they're such a disruptor is because they take a digital first approach to real estate. And so they have an end to end platform which streamlines the home buying and selling process, which is definitely a very stressful experience usually. And so I also want to dissect this paragraph real quick. So it connects potential buyers and sellers with local real estate agents and provides mortgage and closing services to facilitate transactions. They also buy homes directly, which gives the sellers a certainty of a cash offer without the hassle of listing, preparing, and showing the home. And so basically what I'm trying to say here is that, this actually is key. End-to-end platform streamlines the process, simplifying what is often a stressful experience. Because obviously we can see here that Zillow is involved in every step of the pipeline, connecting the buyers and sellers, providing the mortgage and closing services to facilitate transactions. And once again, they can also buy the home themselves, right? And so this is actually a brilliant business model. A couple more points before I wrap up here is that they actually break down their business segments. And so these are all the subsidiaries that Zillow actually owns. So they have Premier Agent, home loans, offers, closing services, and rentals, which is actually really cool. And these are also acquisitions. So Trulia, Street Easy, and Hot Pads. And so let's actually dissect some of these business segments. You guys remember in the beginning of the video, I was making a big deal about Zillow getting into actually buying homes and becoming more of a real estate company themselves was such a game changer. And this sentence is actually why. So if you look at Zillow's results today, the company generates most of its revenue from Zillow offers, not agent revenue. And so you might be wondering, what is Zillow offers? Zillow offers is the business segment that actually buys and sells homes, which it intends a low friction way to sell a home at a competitive rate. And so we take a look at this. In the first quarter of 2021, Zillow offers generated about $701 million in revenue out of the total $1.22 billion overall for the company. And so company like Zillow, they have the data, they have the business segments, they have the expertise, they obviously have the funds, they're free cash flow positive, and nothing is stopping Zillow from actually totally disrupting the real estate market even more than they already have. And so this to me seems like a pretty strong buy. Wrapping it up from a technical analysis perspective, I like that we close above the 50-day moving average. Almost have like a, double bottom action going here. I think once we do recapture the 200-day, we should start to get a lot of momentum going forward. And obviously they had an amazing Q1 2020 from a financial perspective. Pretty sure they can keep it up, especially with how hot the current real estate market is. And so in my opinion, this is something that I will most likely increase my position in. If you guys enjoyed this content, go ahead and throw me a like. Let's see if we can get to 15 likes on this video. I think my previous one got to 11, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, let's see if we can get to 15 likes on this video. and I will be thankful for that. So yeah, if you guys enjoy the video, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.